What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Life as I Know It podcast, and I'm your host, Jason Marshall, where this podcast is dedicated to educating, motivating, inspiring the life licensed financial professional to win at life. And what I mean by life is life insurance. So this episode, I'm going to just talk about how I entered into the industry. And so if you stay tuned, we're going to talk about it. All right, guys, so listen, I don't know about you all, but, I didn't grow up saying, I want to grow up and be in the insurance and financial services industry. It just kind of happened, right? Back in 2013, I made a decision that I wanted to be in sales because, in my opinion, sales is the most important profession in the world because nothing makes it to the marketplace unless somebody sells it first. And so I made a decision that I wanted to dedicate my career to be a career of sales. And so in order to do that, I had to find I just went into like an entry level position. So I started out with the Better Business Bureau and just kind of learned the inside or telesales process because, that was what was available at the time. And so I really just educated myself, read some Zig Ziglar and just read a lot of different books. And soon went on to become number one in the office. Then I moved on to becoming, number, 4 within the nation and number 25 within United States, Mexico, and Canada. And so I was doing that. And a friend of mine, Jeff Hill, shout out to Jeff Hill, he reached out to me prior to me going into sales because I was an event promoter for several years. I threw concerts and parties, and I was a single man at the time. So he reached out to me trying to talk about life insurance and, getting a financial plan together. And I really just kind of blew him off, to be honest, because that's just not where my mind was at the time, being a young single man. But fast forward, I got married and I was in this role with the Better Business Bureau. And, we had just purchased a home, my wife and I. I thought about the call that he made to me. So I proactively reached out to Jeff and said, Jeff, yeah, we just purchased a home. I'm married now. Definitely want to sit down and talk to you about getting some life insurance in place. And so, we sat down and we talked about it. He helped us get some life insurance in place. And what happened? He said, I think you're doing really well. I see that you're doing really well there at the Better Business Bureau. I'm seeing, some of the awards and accolades that you're getting, through social media. But man, listen, if you took a look at this opportunity here at the carrier that we were at the time, I think you could do even better, right? So long story short, he introduced me to the managing partner of that agency. And I went on to do really well, right? So in my first year, I was the top producer for my class. The next year I was. And I also made what they call the executive council. That's what this little pin is here within my first year. So you reach a certain milestone and you get to win a trip and things like that. But I started to kind of outgrow the captive agency business model, where I like to market and promote and advertise things the way that I like to do it. And it's just a whole story of, why I decided to go independent, but that'll be a different episode for a different time. But fast forward, ended up doing really well in my first year. And then my second year, I actually wrote the most policies in the state for that particular carrier. And so, I outgrew the captive business model. I wanted to do things my way and on my own terms. So I actually ended up parting ways with that carrier and I went independent. Now I was figuring out my way, in the independent space and really didn't know what to do. I tried to utilize this carrier. I really didn't know what a BGA was or IMO was, and what that is a brokerage general agency or insurance marketing organization. I had no clue because I was strictly, involved with, the captive agency business model. where I only just worked for one company, sold their products, and that was it. And so didn't work out with that company because they were on West Coast time and the service just wasn't there. They were 2 hours behind. I was 2 hours ahead. I would call them, they wouldn't call me back, and maybe it was 2 or 3 days down the road, right? So I got frustrated with that process. But then I ended up getting a contract with Mass Mutual, and I did really well with there. And I was under the tutelage of a financial professional that was doing really well. But she had some odd 2,500 clients. She really didn't have the time to really help me in the independent space. And so I remembered back when I was with this particular carrier that Jeff had introduced me to, I was out, prospecting different business owners and things like that. And I actually walked into a business that didn't shoo me away, if you will. A gentleman by the name of Jiggs Ramsey, he had invited me on in and, asked me did I want a cup of coffee. I'm like, what is this? Like, why are you not saying, well, give me your card and I'll get back with you later? It wasn't anything like that. It was very welcoming and inviting. But at the time I was drinking the carrier Kool-Aid, right? So I was just like, hey, I'm good where I'm at. But fast forward, I kind of remembered that conversation that we had. So I didn't know that we had a brokerage general agency right in my own backyard. And so I reached back out and got a contract with this agency. And the gentleman's son, Luke, he had reached out to me and he asked me, could we go to lunch? And so in 2018, I'm thinking we're going to talk about, how he can help me in my independent practice. Well, he took me out to lunch and he said, man, we're actually growing and expanding here. We really could use your help. And so in 2018, he made me an offer that I accepted. And so now I'm transitioning from being a financial professional, solely a financial professional, to going over and becoming a life insurance marketer or a marketing director, what have you. And so now I'm on this side of the fence and it's opening up a whole new world for me because I'm working with financial advisors, financial professionals all across the country, and I'm helping them find the best products for their clients, from your top producers to your middle of the road producers to the ones that produce a little bit here and there. But basically I'm helping find solutions to all of their clients' needs. And so from the smallest of the cases to your large estate planning cases that are $15 million and the premium is $265,000 a year, different things like that, that I'm able to be a part of those types of cases. And so, that's pretty much like my story and how I got into the industry. I'm interested to find out a little more about how you guys got into the industry. So be sure to, if you thought this was, you could resonate with this, maybe like the video, drop a comment, subscribe, and maybe let me know how you got into the industry. Maybe you grew up saying I wanted to be in this industry, but most people that I know grew up and they said, this is one of those things that just kind of happened, but it just stuck with us and we stuck it out. It's been some very good successes. There's been some pitfalls. And so, as you all continue to just kind of tune in and come along on this journey, I'll be bringing on other financial professionals and industry professionals to just share their journeys as well. And hopefully, you'll be able to be inspired, motivated, and even get some education. So thank you guys for tuning in, and listen, we will catch you on the next episode. Thanks.